Self-love. It sounds good, but what does it actually mean and how do you do it? And why is it so important when you want to make changes in your life? There are certain clues that you may not be loving yourself. A lot of people have a feeling that they're just not good enough. And this belief and feeling tends to prevail all through their life. You may have a tendency to put yourself last and put other people's needs and desires before your own. A lot of people believe that they just don't need as much or they don't deserve it, that they're tough or that it's other people's responsibility, particularly their partner or children. They're supposed to love you, not you. And these things can often run deep in our subconscious and be a part of a response to trauma. Another clue is that you don't like looking in the mirror. You don't like the person you see. Or maybe you avoid mirrors altogether. Or maybe you feel stressed more than you feel content. You don't like your life, and therefore you choose habits to avoid yourself in your life, like drinking too much, being on your phone all the time, gambling, overeating on junk food, trying to feel good, but avoiding your actual life. If you don't really love yourself, you won't make the best choices for yourself. You won't find the time or the energy or the money to make any change that you want to make because you don't view it as important. You won't believe in yourself, so you won't start something new. You won't make what you want a priority, so it probably won't happen. That's how important self-love is. We all have different parts to ourselves, and we all have a part of us that wants to love us and knows how. However, this part may be stifled by other parts of us and beliefs we have that make us think that loving ourselves is somehow wrong. There could be, for example, a part of ourselves that believes that loving yourself is being selfish, or that putting ourselves on a pedestal is loving ourselves. But neither of those things are actually true. Maybe we have a part that believes we are not worth loving because this is something that somebody else taught us. But deep down, there is a part of us that knows we are worth loving and that really does know how to do it. There is a way to explore this and to find out what beliefs could be holding you back. And I think I've mentioned this before. It's called internal family systems or parts work. And you can find lots of information about this on the internet, on YouTube, or simply start out writing these questions down and trying to answer them using just writing practices. So you can either pause the video or get a pen and paper and write these down. Some questions to ask yourself. What are you afraid will happen if you put yourself first? What do my actions say about what I believe about self-love? These are meaning the actions about how you treat yourself. Do you treat yourself as well as you treat others you love? And if not, why? Are there parts of me that I hate? And could these parts benefit from a little bit of compassion and understanding? But these questions are just a good start. So, what actually is it to love yourself? When you're loving yourself, it allows you to know who you are. You're not afraid to know who you are, warts and all, and feel care, genuine care, respect, and compassion for yourself. It includes the way you act towards yourself, your thoughts, and what you say about yourself in your own head and to others. So, how do we do this loving yourself thing? Number one, show yourself that you can be trusted. I know this sounds really easy, but it's not. But you need to show yourself that you'll actually accomplish what you say you're going to do. And no, I'm not just going to tell you that you should do this because we're telling ourselves that all the time and it doesn't actually work. So don't set yourself up to fail. The amount of willpower we have on any given day is actually limited. This is something I wish I'd known a long time ago. If you are using willpower to just get out of bed and go to work, for example, which I've been there, and I can tell you that that can take a lot of your willpower if you don't actually want to go to work and you're dealing with a whole lot of other things. And if that's what you're doing, then there's not much left to do much else. I've been starting diets on a Monday and trying to exercise for decades while struggling to work in a job that also took all my willpower to get to work and then do the actual job. I was also dealing with undiagnosed complex post-traumatic stress. So, of course, I was failing each time I tried to lose weight because it was just too much. It was tipping me over the edge. But here's the catch. Each time I failed, I felt really bad about myself. I lost trust and love for myself, and it just all became just too hard. I would then turn to old patterns or what I thought was giving myself love in the easiest, quickest way, which was to eat sweet treats, lots of them. And then I'd hate myself for this later. It was a vicious cycle, one that I'm still dealing with and working on. I needed to do was actually start healing the complex post traumatic stress. And so that I would save my willpower for one or two things at a time during the day. So instead of trying to stop eating junk food while also going to the gym, going to work, trying to start a business, fix my love life, fix everything else in my life, also while healing, I could just work on one or two and get to know myself and my willpower limits. So what are your willpower limits, and what are you trying to get through the day on, and perhaps overwhelming yourself with things that you need to do instead of prioritizing what's actually important? Number two, learn to listen to your body again. We often shut down these signals from our body because there's all those voices of what we should be doing and guilt and shame and everything else thrown in the mix. But learning to listen to your body is actually loving yourself. What do I mean by this? So I remember coming home from work and just feeling so tired, and it would be my days off, and there'd be the voices saying that I should clean the house, I should go and wash up, and I should start that business that would get me out of the job that I didn't like. I should exercise, for example. But what my body was saying was that after all that effort with all my willpower all week just to get through the days, I actually just needed to rest and do nothing. And if I'd actually allowed myself to just go to bed or just rest and actually have nothing to do for a while, I wouldn't have then needed perhaps to fill my time and find other ways of trying to fix my energy levels. So, what is your body trying to tell you? And can you start listening to and allowing yourself to love yourself enough to just stop doing things for a while and take time out? Okay, number three, stop thinking so much about other people's stuff. Okay, let's be honest. How much time do you spend worrying about what other people think, what their problems are, and how you can help them or fix them? What they're feeling, what they're up to more than you. Oh, so many things. So bringing that focus back onto yourself is something that is self-loving instead of everybody else's stuff, because the only person you're really responsible for, unless you have children, is yourself. You're responsible for looking after yourself, for providing for your needs, and then sharing this space with other people. You're not actually responsible to try and fix other people or to worry about what they're thinking of you or anything else. And it can be really hard to let go of this because it's like a distraction. While we're thinking about other people's things, we're not concentrating on ourselves because it's easier to fix someone else or advise someone else. I was an expert at this, or thought I was, but it's not true. It's you that needs the attention, and once you focus on yourself more, then your life can start moving forward, and then you're in a better position to actually be of any value to anyone else. Number 3, act as if. So rather than trying to just love yourself and then that's going to make you feel better about yourself, which of course it would, it's sometimes easier to do it the other way around and act as if you already do love yourself. What would that mean for you? You could start writing it out. If I loved myself, I would take care of my health. I would allow myself time to do the things I enjoy more. I would put myself first more. I would speak nicely in my head to myself. So I might dress nicer. I would buy nice things for myself. So in the morning, get up, and from the moment you get out of bed or even before, act as if you already do love yourself, and try this on for a while. Just an experiment. Got nothing to lose, and you don't actually have to feel it to do it. So you can just start. It's kind of like pretending, but it's more acting or stepping into a role that is actually a part of yourself that's been shut down. So it's not taking on something that isn't you. This part of you is actually in there. It is in there. And by starting to do things, the actions, you start to wake it up again. And it can feel amazing. You'll start to have all sorts of revelations about yourself and life, and it'll move you forward. Got nothing to lose. Learn to say no. Oh, this sounds so easy, but it isn't for a lot of people. So what does saying no mean? It means not having to make excuses when you really don't want to do something or see someone. You just need that time to yourself. And you don't have to explain. So for me, this was a big hurdle because of my fawning behavior from trauma. And I had to come up with what we call elevator pitches for things to say. And I had to practice these when I wanted to say no. For example, if I was invited to something and I knew that this was not going to be good for me, my old behavior would be to come up with a whole heap of excuses why and try not to hurt the person's feelings, over explain myself, or simply just go and then have to suffer through it. So I then learnt to say no, simply say, I can't do that right now, or thanks for inviting me. I'll come another time, and just leave it, and fight that urge to keep explaining, to just say no. It's something that we do for ourselves, and we're adults. We don't have to explain to other adults why we're doing something. Learn to say no, and to people that drain you, to situations that drain you, to when you're asked to do things for people, like to volunteer to do something or to um, help someone out. Of course, if you can do it and you want to do it, then that's great. But if you find that you're spending a lot of time doing things that at the time really drain you because you're so tired from doing something else, for example, or you're not feeling quite right, or you simply don't like the company of the person, but they're an old friend, for example, or a member of your family, it is okay to say no and to put yourself first. No, no, they won't. If they really love you and they want to be in your life, they won't turn around and say, oh, well, you can't be in my life anymore. It actually, having self-respect actually makes people probably like you more because it elevates you. It elevates your status and as a person, and they don't see you as a people pleaser. And when you do spend time with people, they get to feel that you're authentic and that you really want to be there. And there's nothing better than that. Number 5, get some help. There is actually a lot of help out there, but it can be hard to find and to know where to look. Of course, there's all the YouTube videos that you can see out there that will have information on loving yourself and from different perspectives, which is great to get all those different perspectives, because that way you can find something that fits for you. There are also ways through professional help. And believe it or not, but not loving yourself and having issues there is one of the most common symptoms of many mental health issues that we may not even realize are going on for us. So if you're struggling with your life or yourself, it can actually be worth it to just explore this for a while and talk to your doctor and get a referral to a psychologist and have a conversation or two. Yes, it can feel a bit embarrassing and confronting, but these people are trained professionals and you'll soon feel at ease and perhaps get to problems that could be deeper rooted than just an issue with loving yourself. I also have some free tools on my page, that on my website, that can help you sort through things and help yourself. And combining the two with professional and self-help tools, it really helps to boost you along the way to getting a better life and loving yourself a whole lot more. So thank you so much for watching and spending your time listening to me. If you'd like to hear more from me, please, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button below and like the video, maybe leave me a comment, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.